Hello out there. As you know, I'm always delighted and very, very excited to welcome you to Cross-Cultural Experiences. This is a forum where I traditionally, invite somebody, a guest, and I discuss with that person about his or her experience moving from one culture to another, and more importantly, what the person learned from that experience. All right, so that is the setting. If you're a regular visitor to this forum, that's exactly what you know. That's how we do it. But this time, there'll be a difference. So once in a while, I try to share my own experience too, because I've had the benefit of traveling to one or two places. And it's always nice to share experiences just in case you're going there. And then you know what to expect. So this time, I am the host and I'm also the guest. And my name is Uche Onyebadi. So welcome one more time to Cross-Cultural Experiences. Okay, most of the guests I've interviewed on this forum, they always talk about, especially the Africans migrating, going to Europe or traveling to Europe or America or whatever. They always talk about the time factor, African time all the time. They're used to going late to every activity. So when they go to Europe or go to America, they are so stunned that things start when they're supposed to start. Okay, I said African time. At times you hate it. At times you say, okay, what can I do at this point? Anyway, let's try this one. Bangladesh. If you think African time is the ultimate, you're making a huge, huge mistake. Because if African time has the silver medal, when it comes to going late to activities, in Bangladesh, they have the diamond, not just the gold. They have the diamond medal. I'll share my experience. And so I had a Fulbright scholarship, American Fulbright, and I was to stay for some time in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, the capital city. I was to teach. And just like every digital professor, what did I do? It was a morning class. I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. So around 9 o'clock, I was now, getting ready to go. All right. And I moved, to the classroom and I said, I called the guy in charge. I'd like to go to this classroom to set up before the students arrive. The guy looked at me and said, you don't have to do that. Just sit in your office. When the students come, I will inform you. I said, what? He said, yeah, don't worry, professor. When the students come, I will let you know. I said, but I'm supposed to be there getting ready for the students. I said, oh, just relax. So I said, okay. 30 minutes to time. I said, I have to go and get ready. 15 minutes to time. I called him again. Shouldn't I be getting ready for the students? He said, yeah, professor, why are you worried? When the students come, I will let you know. I said, So 10 minutes to time, I said, I'm not going to wait for you anymore. Let's go. Let me stay there. I will wait for the students. I won't be in my office waiting for these students. Let's just go. Let's go. Let's go. So he said, okay, if you want, let's move. And so we did. Got to the classroom. Lo and behold, classroom was not even open. It was still locked. And then he had to go look for the guy who had the keys. I said, what? 10 minutes to time? Classroom was not. I just kept my cool. You are in a totally different culture, maybe. That's the way they do things. So I just said, okay, let's go look. So he went, looked for the guy, and finally managed to bring the guy. Classroom was unlocked. Of course, it was not cleaned. I said, what? Chairs were, tables, everything upside down. So we had to be patient. This guy just, dutifully brought, cleaned up the classroom, pushed this, that, and that. So it was time. Of course, it was time. When I say it was time, it was past time, actually. So I set up. Of course, there were no students. I mean, we opened it, unlocked the classroom. So maybe like 15 minutes past time, I was already seated, waiting. No student. 15 minutes, no student. 20 minutes, no student. 30 minutes, I didn't see anybody. So I had to call the guy again. I said, what's going on? Where are the students? The professor, I told you, go to the office and wait. When the students come, I will let you know. I said, go back to the office. He said, yeah, go back to the office. Go and relax. Have you had breakfast? If not, you can have your breakfast. When the students come, I am going to call you. I said, all right. Again, I reminded myself, this is a totally different environment. So I went back to the office. 45 minutes after, I was looking, I called him again. Do you mean we don't have, I said, Professor, I don't know why you professors are always agitated. Relax. Wait. When the students come, I will inform you. So I was there waiting for him to come. It was almost going to 1 hour, 1 full hour, when we were late. And so after a while, he now came in. The students have come. I said, okay, thank God. So we walked to the classroom. I saw, I think, 2 students. I said, that's it? When the students come, you will inform me. Yeah, 2 students. I'm laughing now, but it wasn't a joke at that time. So I had to be patient. I waited, and the students started coming in. And then we had just like, I don't know, 5 or so students. By this time, it was more than an hour when it was going to start. So the students started trickling in. And then when I felt we had sufficient, good number of students, I started the class. And the students were very, very excited. They were good. We had a good time. I almost forgot that I spent a lot of time waiting for them to come. So I never forget that experience when the students come. I will come and call you. Professor, relax. You don't have a problem. So after class, because that was almost day 1. So after class, I was just wondering, why is it that students come late, even 1 hour late? I've never seen that before. So I had to ask questions. And the guy told me, Professor, it's because of the traffic. I said, traffic? He said, yeah. I said, what do you mean? Oh, said the traffic is so bad. Actually, I went, I had to go somewhere. So I joined the driver. We hit the streets. Jesus, did I not see what the guy meant by traffic? It was like this. So in Lagos, I'm from Nigeria. In Lagos, we don't call it traffic jam because it's beyond that. We call it go slow. So you go slowly, inch by inch, inch by inch. In Bangladesh, it is not go slow. It is stay where you are. It is not go, just remain where you are. When the car moves, you move. I said, what? It's so congested. Bangladesh is a tiny country, and the population is huge. It was just like this. You could not move. And you look at the buses on the streets, every bus has a dent showing you the battles they had fought on the streets. Dent all over the place. You can just be in the car and another car hits you, just like that. Boom. Nobody bothers because it's just part of life. I said, So that is the cause of it. So I learned that it is because of the traffic. Students they don't have cars, so they couldn't afford, they can't fly in, so they have to be part of it. I said, okay. So as we moved along, I said, so how do these people control the traffic? So I saw a man in uniform. So I thought he was a military guy. He said, no, the driver told me, oh, no, this is a traffic policeman. I said, traffic policeman? He said, yeah. This guy had a whip. I said, do you use whips for traffic? He told me, at times you can resort to whips because that is especially the commercial drivers. So that's the language you understand. And then they will understand that they're driving recklessly. I said, okay. So the traffic policeman had a whip. Then why was he wearing a gun? Because he was wearing AK-47. He said, that is to show people that he's very serious. So you have a traffic policeman has a whip and has a gun. And more than one of them. So I looked at, we came to a junction, like a roundabout. Jesus, you know what? Cars were supposed to be moving in one direction, straight. But you could see cars that are facing this way, others are facing this way. I said, how come? Aren't we all supposed to be moving straight? I said, oh, okay. Maybe that's why the traffic guy has a whip. So if he finds you going in this direction when you're supposed to be moving in this direction, ping, 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 and then you say, oh, okay. So it was a good experience. I wasn't laughing at that time, but it was just, let's put it this way, totally different experience, in Bangladesh and the traffic. And that explained to me why the students were late. It's not that they were habitually late, but just the traffic, they just couldn't. And so I said, all right. So in Bangladesh, they have the whip, and then they wear the gun, traffic police people. Yet there was still chaos. If you think that the presence of the gun and the whip will discourage people from driving the way they want to drive, no way. The traffic was so congested. Of course, you didn't have one traffic policeman. There were many of them to controlling, hey, you do this, do this. All right. So it took me, the Bangladeshi experience, made me look back to the time, I think I traveled to the Cameroon, next to Nigeria. I think it's in the southern Cameroon, Buya, maybe the name of the city. Coming from Lagos, where we had total chaos on the streets, on the roads, for traffic. I told you it is go slow. You go slow inch by inch. Now in this city, I didn't find any go slow, no traffic. The commercial drivers were driving, as if they were on driver's test, waiting for their driver's licenses. I said, how come? This is just Cameroon. How come? I saw traffic policemen and women, but they were not really doing anything because traffic was flowing. So I said, no, there must be a reason for this one. No way. And our brothers and sisters just across the border, they must have some Nigerian thing, about driving recklessly on the track. Anyway, so I was informed that I don't know whether it happens now, but at that time, they had a system of instant justice on the streets. So if you violated the traffic, especially the commercial drivers, if you made any mistakes, or not even mistakes, because that's the way they drive, if you drove recklessly, they don't take you to court. They don't give you citations. They don't even tell you to pay fines. Because the traffic policeman always has a whip. The same thing I saw years later in Bangladesh. They had a whip. So you are ordered out as a commercial driver, and you're given 6 strokes of the cane. There, they don't take you in, just right there, just come out. Pam, 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 pam. And then they order you back into your car. Do you know what? That you were whipped several times, 6 strokes, lashes of the cane here does not mean that when you commit the same or similar traffic offense, maybe some few kilometers or within the same vicinity, it doesn't mean that you are excused. You'll get another one. So by the time you complete your journey of 1 hour and you're a reckless driver, you may have received, 6 strokes of the cane times 3. So 18 strokes. Now, who wants to get that? Who really wants to be beaten like that? So, in some places they say, they just give me a fine. I go and pay the fine and I go my way. Or they give me a citation. I can go to court and dispute it. This one, there is no court. There, instant justice. Pam, pam, pam. And then you're ordered, go back into the car and drive. Commit the same offense, pam, pam, pam. So the fear of in Nigeria we call it koboko or bulala. The fear of the bulala or the koboko makes you drive like a sane human being. So this is just, how my experience in Bangladesh brought me back to my experience in the Cameroon and, my experience in Nigeria also. So from being told, professor, don't worry, when the students come, I will come and call you, which I found to be very strange. And then I found out the reason why students go late because of the traffic. And then I told myself, oh, is this how they control the traffic there with guns and bulalas? My mind went back to Cameroon, my experience in Cameroon. Now, what am I saying? I'm not recommending that traffic policemen all over the world should now be armed with guns, AK-47, whatever rifles, and then they are beating up people. No, that's not what I'm recommending. I'm also saying that maybe every nation has a way of developing its own system of doing things. In Cameroon, the thing works. There's no traffic. There's no traffic jam, at least as at that time in Buya. Everything was flowing. Drivers knew how to be, to obey the traffic. And so that's them. In some other countries, you have the traffic lights. Maybe that works for them. But if they tell you the traffic light works all over the place, my Canadian friend told me something. Because in the United States where I live, when you're driving, that's the typical thing that happens. And then you notice that the light is orange. And you know that the red light is coming. Oh, that's when you speed up. Just to beat the red light. But I'm told that in Canada, when you see that orange light, it is, please slow down. The red light is about to pop up, to show up, and then people slow down. So you can imagine the contrast. The orange light in the United States, most of the time means fly away because the red light is coming. But in Canada, it's like, slow down, take it easy. The red light is approaching. So that's just my experience. I thought I could share with everybody, from Professor, relax. Don't worry. Don't get a heart attack because students are not in class. When they come, I will let you know. And then that led me to the traffic, experience in both countries. All right. Thanks for watching. And if you like to be part of this, to be my guest, all you need to do is to get in touch with me. The email address is crossculturalexperiences. One word, crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com. Don't forget, to add the S, crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.